The echoing gavel strike reverberated through the dimly lit hall, its ominous resonance sealing the fate of Elias Thorne with a finality that sent shivers down the spines of those in attendance. He stood there, amidst the hushed whispers and the scent of antiquity, clutching the receipt for Lament as if it were a talisman against the encroaching darkness. Lament was no ordinary painting. It was a macabre masterpiece, its subject a woman with eyes that seemed to pierce through the very soul of anyone who dared to meet their gaze. Her sorrow was palpable, a haunting presence that lingered in the air like a spectre. Elias, a man of logic and reason, scoffed at the whispers of a curse that surrounded the painting. To him, it was nothing more than superstitious nonsense, the fanciful imaginings of those who were too weak-minded to face the harsh realities of the world. But then, the tragedies began. It started innocently enough, with the sudden and unexplained death of his huge dog, his lifeless form found curled up in his bed, an expression of horror frozen on his face. Elias dismissed this as a mere coincidence, a tragic twist of fate. But fate, it seemed, had other plans. The next to fall victim was Mrs. Hathaway, his loyal housekeeper of 20 years. She slipped on the staircase, her frail body unable to withstand the force of the fall. As Elias stood over her lifeless form, a chill crept up his spine, whispering of darker forces at play. And so it went, a string of misfortunes that seemed to follow Elias like a shadow. A fire consumed the east wing of his mansion, reducing priceless artifacts to ash. A car crash left his business partner on the brink of death, his mangled body a testament to the fragility of life. Through it all, Elias remained untouched, his rational mind struggling to make sense of the chaos that surrounded him. But deep down he knew that there was something sinister lurking beneath the surface, something beyond his comprehension. His obsession with the painting only grew stronger with each passing day. He found himself drawn to it like a moth to a flame, unable to tear his eyes away from the haunting visage of the woman trapped within its frame. He began to notice subtle shifts in her expression, her sorrow deepening with each passing moment. Her eyes seemed to follow him wherever he went, their gaze burning with a chilling intensity that sent shivers down his spine. And then, one fateful night, amidst a raging thunderstorm that shook the very foundations of his mansion, Elias awoke to a cold whisper in his ear. "You are the source of my sorrow," the voice rasped, its words echoing through the darkness like a death knell. He turned, his heart pounding in his chest, to find the woman from the painting standing beside his bed, her hand outstretched towards him like the spectre of death itself. Terror seized him then, raw and primal in its intensity. He knew in that moment that he was not just a victim of circumstance, but a willing participant in his own downfall. For it wasn't the painting that was cursed, but him. He was the true source of the darkness that surrounded him, the cruelty and greed that had consumed his very soul. Desperate to break free from the shackles of his own making, Elias tried to destroy the painting, to rid himself of the cursed mirror that reflected his innermost sins. But try as he might, the painting remained unscathed, its surface as pristine as the day it was created. And so he was trapped, his own reflection staring back at him with accusing eyes, a constant reminder of the monster he had become. As his life crumbled around him, his wealth and power slipping through his fingers like grains of sand, Elias came to realize the true horror of the curse that had befallen him. It wasn't death or misfortune that awaited him, but the chilling revelation of his own monstrous nature. The painting was merely a mirror, reflecting back to him the darkness that lurked within his own soul. In the end, Elias stood before the painting, tears streaming down his face as he finally accepted his fate. The true tragedy of Lament was not the deaths it caused, but the revelation of the darkness that lay dormant within the heart of man. And as he gazed into the mournful eyes of the painted woman, Elias knew that he was both the curse and the cursed, a walking tragedy condemned to wander the halls of his own personal hell for all eternity. Let me know in the comments if you liked it, and don't forget to subscribe.